where Daniel Molino, Labor MP, has called Australia Day controversial. Here he was last night talking to Shari.
Australia Day has evolved further, and it is fair to say that it has become somewhat controversial in parts of our community. And I think we're in an interesting transition at the moment with Australia Day. I think as a country, we are going through a process where different parts of our community are wanting to treat Australia Day differently. I don't know what the endpoint's going to be. What I'd say is there's no single rule here.
What are you talking about, mate? The polls all say, the vast majority of Australians want Australia Day left alone, want to celebrate our National Day and the glorious nation that we live in. It seems to me this entire narrative is around telling us that we can only be ashamed of what the settlers did when they came here, and we can't be proud of what they actually achieved. This makes absolutely no sense. And like I keep saying, Joe, you can't change the date of a birthday. And we all know even if we did change the date, everyone would still have the same issue with the new date, because you are essentially still celebrating the exact same thing.
Well, there are lots of sort of ways you can do this. I mean, the first thing to say is that Daniel Molino was just the epitome of a politician who was trying to say absolutely nothing while keeping the words coming from his mouth. So it didn't look like he was saying absolutely nothing, while at the same time having a panic attack, while at the same time trying to realise the exact composition of his electorate of Fraser. But I think firstly there will be obviously politicians who represent the leafier and leftier, more affluent inner suburbs who are worried about a backlash against them from all the activists who don't like Australia Day or whatever, and are trying to get seats back from the Greens in the case of the Labor Party. And so that's just sheer...
So you're saying he doesn't actually believe this at all? He's shilling for votes?
Well, what's he actually saying? He's not saying anything. He's not even staking a position on it. He's just saying, I don't know.
He wants to be seen.
Well, I think quite evidently it is controversial. There are protests against it all the time. The point being, he's not going to swing. He's not going to swing in for it, and he's not going to swing in against it. He's just saying absolutely nothing. I, however, have the perfect solution for everybody.
Do tell.
This week marks the, I think, 170th anniversary of the Eureka Stockade Rebellion, when the mighty miners under Peter Lalor rose up against the injustice and tyranny of a government. And it's got absolutely everything you want in a national day. Firstly, the Eureka flag is an awesome flag. It looks really good.
Cool.
It's been co-opted by the far right and the far left. You could bring it back to the mainstream and say, no, you guys don't get to take it. Sorry, CFMEU. Sorry, crazy white supremacist neo-Nazis. We're taking it. It's going to be our flag now. It looks really good. It looks better.
That wouldn't be controversial at all.
Better than any of the other flags that have been put forward as a suggestion to replace the current standard that we have. This is a moment that appeals...
You're talking about replacing the flag as well as Australia Day.
Yeah, everything. Because you've got, firstly, you've got, this is what a moment of national unity, right? This is Australia's answer to the Boston Tea Party, because these are miners rising up and saying no taxation without representation.
Yeah.
But it's also workers rising up for their rights. And so again, it appeals to both the right and the friends of liberty and no taxation without representation, and it also appeals to the left, because of course it's all about defending workers' rights in the face of an exploitative colonialist government. And just to even just put this perfect little cherry on the top, it is also a great celebration of multiculturalism, because far from being the sort of all-white Anglo-Irish miners who were rising up and everything, the first death at Eureka Stockade, I think it was the first person hanged after they were all rounded up, or where they were killed on the spot, was actually a black African American, one of the first.
Joe, I'm really glad you're catching.